I almost didn't go to that dinner. Like, I had the dress laid out on my bed for 3 days straight, just staring at it every time I walked past like it was judging me. Don't go, a voice in my head kept saying. Nothing good ever comes from sitting at that table. But then another voice kicked in, quieter, but stubborn. Go. This time, don't shrink. So yeah, I went. The restaurant was one of those fancy downtown spots. Low lighting, overpriced water, waiters who look at you like they know your bank balance. I walked in, heels clicking, heart already doing that annoying fast beat thing. And there they were, my whole family. Same table, same seats, same energy. Like nothing ever changes. Look who finally showed up, my brother smirked, not even looking up from his phone. I forced a smile. Hey to you too. Mom kissed the air near my cheek, not actually touching me, just performing it. Dad barely glanced up. Classic. And then, Grandpa, the only one who actually smiled like he meant it. There's my girl, he said, pulling out a chair for me. That one sentence? Yeah, that almost broke me right there. But I held it together. We ordered food, small talk floating around like background noise. You know the kind. Fake laughs, surface-level questions, nobody really listening. How's work? Mom asked. Good, I said. Not true. Not even close. But they never wanted the real answer anyway. Then it happened. Out of nowhere. Grandpa lifted his glass, smiling wide like he had something big to say. I just want to say, he started, voice warm, proud, I'm so happy you're loving the apartment I got you. Everything stopped, like literally froze. Forks mid-air, glasses halfway up, even the waiter paused. And me? I just sat there, blinking, processing. Apartment? What apartment? I felt my throat tighten as all eyes slowly turned toward me. Mom's brows furrowed. My brother finally looked up. Dad went still. Real still. I swallowed. I don't have an apartment, I said, quietly. Grandpa laughed like I was joking. Come on, don't be modest. I shook my head. No, I'm serious. Silence. Heavy. Thick. Uncomfortable. I live in a basement, I added a little louder this time. Boom. You could feel it hit the table like a bomb. What are you talking about? Grandpa asked, his smile fading. I looked straight at him. You never gave me anything. My voice didn't shake. Not this time. I've been renting a basement for 4 years. No windows. Half the time the heat doesn't work. I eat sitting on the floor because I don't even have space for a table. Mom's hand trembled around her glass. That's not funny, she whispered. I'm not joking. I turned to my dad, slowly, deliberately. You told him you helped me, right? He shifted in his seat, didn't answer, didn't look at me. And right there, I knew. Grandpa leaned forward. He transferred the money, he said, confused now, for your place. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Yeah, I said, softly. Then I looked at my dad again, and he kept it. Gasps. Actual gasps. My brother sat up straight like he just woke up. Mom turned to Dad, eyes wide. Tell me that's not true. He rubbed the back of his neck. I was holding it. For what? I snapped. Retirement? I was going to give it to you when you were ready. I laughed. Sharp. Bitter. Ready? I was working 2 jobs, barely eating, asking you for help, and you told me to figure it out. The room got hotter, like the air itself was angry. You said struggling builds character, I continued. You said I needed to learn the hard way. My chest was rising now, fast. But you weren't teaching me anything. You were just watching me drown while sitting on my life raft. Dad's jaw tightened. You're overreacting. That did it. Right there, that flipped the switch. I stood up, chair scraping loud against the floor. No, I said calmly. I'm done reacting exactly the right amount. Everyone was staring, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel small. I wasn't even going to say anything tonight. I came here to eat, smile, pretend like everything is fine, like always. I looked around the table, but it's not fine. I grabbed my bag and walked out. Just like that. No tears, no drama. Just done. The cold air outside hit my face like a reset button. I stood there for a second, breathing, really breathing, like I'd been holding it in for years. Then I heard footsteps behind me. Fast. Hey, wait! Grandpa, of course. I turned. He looked shaken, not confused anymore, not proud, just hurt. You really never got the apartment? He asked. I shook my head. Nope. His face fell. I trusted him. I know. Silence. Then he said something I didn't expect. Take me there. I blinked. What? Your place. I want to see it. That night, I showed him everything. The cracked walls, the flickering light, the mattress on the floor, the smell of smoke that never left. He didn't say a word first, just stood there, looking around, taking it all in. Then he sat down slowly, ran a hand over his face, and exhaled. Deep. This ends now, he said. And for the first time in years, I believed someone meant it.
I didn't sleep that night. Not really. I laid there staring at the ceiling in Grandpa's guest room, the soft hum of the AC filling the silence. But my mind was loud, like deafening. Every memory I ever tried to bury came crawling back. Every time my dad told me I wasn't trying hard enough. Every time I asked for help and got shut down. Every moment I questioned myself, like, maybe he's right. Maybe I'm the problem. Nah. Turns out I was just being played by my own blood. Crazy, right? I sat up around 3 a.m., grabbed my phone, and scrolled through old messages, old emails, old bank statements, trying to connect dots that were never supposed to connect. And suddenly, everything made sense. The way he always dodged money conversations, the way he'd switch topics when I mentioned rent, the way he'd act like I was asking for too much just for wanting basic support. Man wasn't just ignoring me, he was benefiting from me struggling. That realization, yeah, that hit different. Next morning, Grandpa was already dressed, sharp as ever, sitting at the kitchen table like a man on a mission. Coffee untouched. That's how I knew it was serious. "You ready?" he asked without looking down. I nodded. No hesitation this time. We weren't just going to talk anymore. We were going to expose everything. Pulling up to my parents' house felt weird, like stepping into a place that looked familiar but didn't feel like home anymore. The lawn was still trimmed, the porch still clean, same wind chimes hanging by the door, but the energy? Off. Cold. Fake. Grandpa didn't knock twice, just once. firm. Dad opened the door again, but this time his confidence was gone. Straight up gone. He saw the folder in Grandpa's hand, and I swear his whole face dropped, like he already knew. "Can we not do this here?" he muttered. Grandpa stepped inside anyway. "Oh, we're doing this right here. No yelling, no drama, just facts." And somehow, that was worse. We sat down in the living room, same couch I used to nap on as a kid, same walls, different truth. Grandpa opened the folder slowly, almost deliberately, like he wanted every second to sink in. "These are the bank records, the transfer, the second transfer, the investment account." He slid the papers across the table. Dad didn't touch them, didn't even look, just leaned back like he could somehow out-silence the truth. "You really thought nobody would find out?" I asked. He sighed. "You wouldn't understand." That right there, that line, yeah, that lit something in me. "No," I said, leaning forward, "you don't get to say that anymore. I understand perfectly now." My voice didn't shake, and that scared him more than yelling ever could. "You took money that was meant to help me start my life, and instead of giving it to me, you used it, watched me struggle, watched me break." Mom started crying quietly in the corner, but I didn't stop. Not this time. "You made me feel like I wasn't enough, like I didn't deserve help, like I had to earn basic respect." Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Real. Then Grandpa spoke again, and this time his voice carried weight. He said to my dad, "You have two options. You repay every dollar, or we take this to court." Straight like that. No sugarcoating, no second chances. Dad finally snapped. "You're really going to do this over money?" I almost laughed. "Over money?" I repeated. "It was never just money. It was years of lies, years of manipulation, years of being made to feel small when I wasn't." He tried to defend himself, said he was protecting the money, said he was investing for my future, said he planned to tell me eventually. "Man, stop." "Then why didn't you?" I asked. No answer, just silence again, because there was no excuse. None. That's when something shifted, not in him, in me. For the first time ever, I didn't feel like I needed his approval, didn't feel like I needed an apology, didn't feel like I needed anything from him. That power? Yeah, that was new. And it felt good. Real good. We left that house about an hour later. No hugs, no fake smiles, no pretending. Just truth sitting heavy in the air behind us. As we got into the car, Grandpa looked at me. "You okay?" I took a deep breath, and for the first time in a long time, I think I am. That week changed everything. Lawyers got involved, documents were filed, deadlines were set, and just like that, the man who made me feel powerless my whole life was finally being held accountable. But here's the thing. This wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about closure. About reclaiming something I didn't even realize was taken from me. My self-worth. A few days later, I went back to the basement. Not to stay, just to see it one last time. I stood in the doorway, looking at that tiny space that held so many sleepless nights, so many quiet breakdowns, so many moments where I almost gave up, and I just shook my head. "Damn," I whispered, "you really survived this." No tears, just respect for myself. I grabbed the last of my things, closed the door behind me, and walked up those stairs for the final time, and I didn't look back. Because that version of me, The one who accepted less, who stayed quiet, who kept shrinking. She was gone. And trust me, what came next? Nobody in that family saw it coming. A month later, everything looked different. Not just on the outside, inside me too. I wasn't waking up to that damp basement smell anymore. No flickering bulb, no noise from pipes banging like they had beef with the walls. Nah, I was waking up to sunlight. Real sunlight. The kind that hits your face and makes you pause for a second, like, dang, this is mine? I'd sit by the window some mornings, coffee in hand, just watching the city move. People rushing, cars honking, life happening. And for once, I didn't feel behind. I didn't feel like I was chasing something. I felt steady. Dad paid the money back. Every single dollar. On time, too. Funny how that works when consequences show up, right? But here's the part people don't talk about. Just because someone pays back what they took doesn't mean they get access back into your life. Money returns. Trust doesn't. He tried, though. Oh, yeah. Text messages at first. Hey, can we talk? I made a mistake. I just want to fix things. I'd read them, then lock my phone. No reply. Not out of anger, out of clarity. Some doors, they don't slam shut. They close quietly and stay that way. Mom called a few times too, crying, saying the family was falling apart. I listened. I really did. But I didn't fold this time. Mom, I said gently, it was already broken. We were just pretending it wasn't. Silence on the other end, because deep down, she knew. They all knew. A few weeks later, I signed my first real design contract. And when I say real, I mean the kind that makes you stare at the paper for a minute before signing, because it finally feels like something clicked. The firm trusted me, my ideas, my vision. No one looked at me like I was just trying. They looked at me like I belonged there. That hit different. Real different. My first project? Small apartment spaces, affordable housing layouts, making tight spaces feel like home. Kind of ironic, right? The girl who lived in a basement now designing places people actually want to live in. Life got jokes sometimes, but this one felt like redemption. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, and slowly, piece by piece, I built something I never had before. Not just stability, respect, for my work, for my voice, for myself. Then came the moment that really sealed it. I hosted brunch. Yeah, my brunch, in my apartment. Sunlight pouring in, music playing low, tables set properly, not mismatched plates or rushed setups. Everything intentional. Everything mine. Family showed up. Cousins, aunts, even people who barely noticed me before. Funny how energy shifts when your life does, right? Grandpa walked in last, looked around, smiled. Not a big smile, just a quiet, proud one. The kind that says, I knew you had it in you. Halfway through brunch, someone asked me, so, how did you turn everything around like that? I paused, looked around the table, took a sip of my coffee, and said, I didn't turn anything around. They looked confused. I just stopped accepting what I didn't deserve. That's it. No long speech, no dramatic moment, just truth. Later that evening, after everyone left, I stood by the window again. Same spot, same view, different version of me. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. I already knew who it was. I stared at it for a second, then declined the call. Not because I was still hurt, but because I wasn't anymore. And that That's a different kind of power. A few days later, I got a letter, handwritten, from my dad. I won't lie, I hesitated before opening it. Part of me didn't care, part of me was curious. I read it once, then folded it back up, set it aside. Not ripped, not kept close, just neutral. Because some apologies, they come too late to change anything. That night, I called Grandpa. "Hey," I said. "Hey, kid," he replied. "You good?" I looked around my apartment, my space, my life, and smiled. "Yeah," I said softly. "I'm really good." Here's the thing nobody tells you. The hardest part isn't being treated badly. It's realizing you allowed it longer than you should have. But once you see it, really see it, you can't unsee it. And that's where everything changes. I used to think I needed approval, support, validation from people who were supposed to give it. But life taught me something else. Sometimes the people you expect to lift you are the same ones holding you down. And the moment you let go, you rise. Simple as that.
So nah, I didn't get revenge. I didn't ruin anyone. I didn't fight dirty. I just walked away and built something better, something real, something mine. And if you're listening to this right now, feeling stuck, feeling overlooked, feeling like you're giving your all and still getting nothing back, hear me out. You're not the problem. You're just in the wrong place, with the wrong people, accepting the wrong treatment. And the moment you decide, I deserve better than this, that's when your story changes. Not overnight, but for real. Because sometimes the best comeback isn't loud, isn't messy, isn't revenge. It's peace, it's growth, it's walking into a life that doesn't require you to shrink. And trust me, once you get there, you'll never go back.
Its Art Deco towers and vibrant orange hue have made it a symbol of innovation since true American landmark.